I personally, I was safe from that because I was like, there's no way I'm spending more money on this police certificate. It doesn't make any sense. I already submitted one when I was doing my PR application. I've not been back in Nigeria for 183 days in the last 3 years. So why am I submitting another one? Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ify and this is Ify's Beats. If you're joining me for the first time, thank you. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you again. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and engage. Thank you for doing that. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Canadian citizenship application process. So if you're a permanent resident currently planning to apply for your citizenship, this video is for you. I'm going to be giving you the details you need and also insight into my own application and how long it took. So a quick disclaimer, I'm not an immigration lawyer, neither am I an immigration consultant. I'm simply telling you about my own experience and information that's currently available publicly on the RICC website. So we're just going to get straight into the video. So if you're applying for citizenship, you're basically applying for a citizenship grant. For January 2026, the citizenship application has an average timeline of 13 months. You can always Google it, just Google Canadian citizenship application timeline and then answer the prompt. You are doing the citizenship grant, and then it's going to give you the timeline. I know for sure a fact that it is 13 months as of today. Steps for your application. So first of all, you have to make sure that you're eligible. You must be a permanent resident with a valid PR status. You must have been physically present in Canada for about 1,095 days in the last 5 years, which is basically 3 years. You may need to have filed taxes in the last for at least 3 years within the last 5 years period. If you are 18 to 54, you need to provide language proof, and you also take the citizenship test. And you can't be under certain prohibitions, for example, serious criminal or security issues. And generally, the advice is to apply with a few days more than 1,095, just to ease your stress, not on the exact day you clock 1,095, just in case you made any errors. And so personally, I was in Canada 3 years out of the 5 years when I applied. I was physically present for those 1,095 days. So I had valid PR status. I still have 2 years. I still had, because now I'm a citizen, but I still had valid 2-year status on my PR at the time of my application. And being between 18 to 54 meant that I took the citizenship test, and I also had valid proof of language, and I had filed my taxes for the last 3 years, and I did not have any criminal cases or security issues. You have to provide 2 pieces of identification, copies. Each needs your name, your photo, your date of birth. So examples include your PR card, your provincial ID, like your driver's license or your health card. I provided my driver's license and my PR card. What I would advise is, when you want to start your application, create a folder, name it citizenship, and move all the documents, because it was pretty easy for me because I had most of the documents on my laptop and on my phone. So I just moved them into the folder when I started my citizenship application. Now on the application website, it also comes with a calculator, so you're able to calculate how many days you have up until the 1,095 days. And when you start your application, you usually have 60 days to complete the application. So I think I started my application in May of 2025, so that I didn't want it to be too early, so that as soon as I got the 1,095 days and some extra days, I just clicked on submit. So I just used the whole of May to gather all my documents until I had my days complete and some extra. And I was just uploading documents into the before I started the application in May, I was gradually moving documents into that citizenship folder, so it's easy for me to just upload once I started my application. So the next thing is language proof. So if you're 18 to 54, you're going to have to prove that you can speak English or French. You have to have a CLB level 4 plus. And the RICC also lists documents that they accept. So they accept I think transcripts from schools. So they accept so if you've studied in Canada, your Canadian certificate is enough to prove that you can speak English. I personally, I use my IELTS from when I did my permanent residency application. I did not have to write a new IELTS exam. I just used that one and I uploaded it. So that was pretty easy. For some people who came via other routes that did not require language, like spousal sponsorship, I know some people use their they use proof of English from their university. So I have a couple of people that did that from their universities in Nigeria to prove that they can speak English instead of writing IELTS afresh. Okay, so the next thing is fees. So the citizenship application is not for free. You have to pay about $649.75 for the application. That covers processing and right of citizenship fee. Yeah. And then the next thing is, if applicable, documents. So depending on your situation, you might also need to submit extras like police certificates. So if you spent 183 days plus in a row in another country in the last 4 years, then you have to present a police certificate. Now this is very important because as at the time I was doing my application, there was this whole big confusion about whether if you've because to explain it clearly, you come in the last 5 years, I came to Canada, completed my 1,095 days, and then I'm applying for citizenship. But the application says if in the last 5 years you've been away from Canada, then you should submit a police certificate. So some people confuse this to mean that even us who came directly from our home country straight to Canada and have submitted police certificates in our original PR application from our home country, we're still required to submit another one. So I had a friend who actually paid for a police certificate, did it, and submitted. I was safe from that because I was like, there's no way I'm spending more money on this police certificate. It doesn't make any sense. I already submitted one when I was doing my PR application. I've not been back in Nigeria for 183 days in the last 3 years. So why am I submitting another one? So I remember I contacted someone who said, oh, they could do it for me, but like they could do the application for me in Nigeria. But I was like, this doesn't even make any sense. I'm not going to do it. So I applied without doing it. Before I eventually read where it said, for us, you did not have to do it. So if you've directly come from your home country to Canada, spent your 3 years, and you've not been back in your home country for 183 days in a row, from what I understanding, you do not need to provide a police certificate from your home country again. But for me, what happened was, so I didn't submit with a police certificate. Eventually, my friend who got a new police certificate told me that, oh, maybe I could submit the old one and it would fly. The fear was if I submitted without a police certificate and they actually did need one, like RICC did need one, then I would be sent an ADR, that is additional documents requested, and I would have to then provide, which would slow down my application. So when he told me that they were accepting the old police certificates, I then went and prepared a web form and sent my old police certificates. But I eventually found out that even that was unnecessary. No police certificate was needed from us at all. But I'm telling you what I did. I submitted the old one, but even that is unnecessary. If you came directly from your home country and have stayed in Canada ever since, you've only probably just done vacations outside the country. So that's it. For other applicable documents, name change documents if you legally changed your name, certified translations for documents not in English or French. So if you have documents in other languages aside English or French, you have to do a certified translation. So always follow the document checklist from RICC for your application type, and then do the online application. I don't know if they still do the paper one though, but my application was online. And I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything. I wrote down a short list. Oh, citizenship photos. So this one is also very important. You're required to present a citizenship photograph, which is basically a passport photograph, but it has specifications as requested by RICC. If you remember during your PR application, we also had to do that. So for me, I did mine at Walmart. I went to a Walmart location. There was a photograph studio there. Oh, sorry, I'm mistaken. That photograph from Walmart was for my passport application. No, I did mine actually at Shoppers Drug Mart. I believe the staff who took it was also a staff of Shoppers Drug Mart. So I just told her it was for my citizenship application. So they knew the requirement. It was on a white background. She took the photo. Honestly, it was too dark, but I was like, if you miss the requirement, I'm okay. And that was what I used for the application, the soft copies of the passport photograph. So that is very important. So my timeline was about 5 months. I submitted May 27th. I got AOR by June 8th. Then I created a tracker account by June 10th. That's something else that's important. Once you get AOR, you're not usually able to link it to the tracker, because the tracker account is where you're able to follow updates on your application. So it took about 2 days after getting the AOR email to when I could link it to the tracker account, so June 10th. And then the next thing was background check. It was complete by August 28th. And then I got this one after my background check to my test invitation was about a month, which was September 29th. I remember my friend got his background check almost immediately after he connected to the tracker account. My own didn't change. So I remember I called them once to say, oh, there's no like updates on my account since June. And then the following week, the background check changed to completed. So I don't know if my call made any difference. But from background check to my test invitation was September 29th. And then I wrote the test August 12th. Honestly, I would advise you that if you get your test, you can write it as quickly as possible. I personally delayed because I got my invitation August 28th. Then the weekend off, I said, oh, I was going to take the test. I started to read. And I read it, and the book was pretty easy, but it had a lot of dates because it's basically history of Canada, and there were lots of dates. So I was worried that I wasn't remembering the dates, and I was like, "Oh, what if I had to master all these dates? What if a lot of dates appear in my questions?" So I didn't end up writing it that weekend. I wrote it the following weekend, and that was how it extended into October 12th, and October 12th. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to master the dates as much as I can. So I read the book a second time. Tried to master most of the dates, then did sample practice questions. I got them from one citizenship test app. It had free questions up until like a certain percentage, then you had to pay. I didn't bother paying. I deleted the app. And then I saw that different libraries, like the Richmond Library, I think the City of Toronto Library, had free practice questions. If you Google practice questions, a lot will come up. So I started to do as much practice questions as I could do that day. So I basically read the book again. The book is about 58 pages of important content. I read it in the morning, and I think I was done by 11 a.m. Then I started to do practice questions until 2 p.m. And then I settled down and did the test, and I scored 20/20 test. There's no need to procrastinate. So immediately you pass, then you have to wait for RICC to verify your result. Your camera is on when you take the test, so they have to watch you through the camera. Watch the videotape of you taking the test and make sure you didn't cheat. And before they verify your results, so my results were verified October 18th. Language was passed October 22nd. And then by October 31st, I got citizenship oath ceremony invite. And it was scheduled for November 25th. So I got the invite via email, and then my tracker was eventually updated. Oh, sorry, I think my tracker was updated first, and then I got the invite via email a couple of hours later. And my ceremony was in person, and that was pretty much it. So it was a smooth process. I had a similar timeline with the same friend who applied from my city. So I don't know what determines how fast or how slow it is, because when you go on Reddit, everybody has like different experiences. Some people had faster applications and some people had slower. There was thoughts that it could be because RICC paused approving people in 2021 and they started approving in 2022. So there were a lot of us who were applying in 2025. Honestly don't know the reason, but mine took 5 months, which wasn't, I don't know, I don't think it was too long. It was like an averagely okay timeline. Some people had shorter timelines, like 3 months, and then some people had slightly longer. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that was my application process. Pretty smooth. Honestly, no real hiccup. And I'm happy. So for tips, I would say, make sure your physical presence is correct and accurate. Make sure your travel history is accurate because they will check. Make sure your language proof is valid and readable. Make sure you use the right photo specs. If you have non-English or French documents, get certified translations. Keep an eye on your online accounts for messages. So if you've applied, comment, let me know what stage you're in and what city you're applying from. And yeah, if you want me to do a better video on the citizenship test prep, please let me know and I will do that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and engage. Thank you very much for watching. Bye guys.